Hey everyone, today we're going to make a shrimp a la king. So it's a shrimp based dish. It goes in a vol au vent, which is like a small pastry cup that you buy pre-made. We're not going to be making the pastry cup. You buy them in the grocery stores. They're in the freezer section. They go in the oven typically at 400 degrees for about 18 to 20 minutes. So, and probably the whole dish takes about, with the prep time, I'm going to say 45 minutes. So you need some onions, you need celery, you need, onions, carrots, you need some chicken stock, a bit of flour, a bit of sugar, a bit of butter, and fresh dill. I'll tell you the amounts as we go along. It's pretty easy, so, sorry about that. So if you like the recipe, please subscribe, ring the bell, like the video. And your friends are going to love this. It's always a big hit. And let's get going. So here we go. I'm going to read you off the ingredients. First, in a pan, I've got a heaping teaspoon of butter that we're going to melt. And while that happens, I'm going to read you off the ingredients. So you will need 1,200 grams of salad shrimp. That's the small shrimp. They look like this. They're very tiny. It does make a difference that it's these shrimps, so please use those. You will need half a pound of julienned carrots. That would be carrots that you've cut into small strips. Julienne basically means matchstick, so they're cut into matchstick. You will need one small finely chopped onion, one 20-ounce can of diced tomatoes, drained of the juice, but keep the juice aside just in case in the end, if it turns out a little thick, you can always add some of the tomato juice. You will need a tablespoon and a quarter of sugar, a tablespoon and a quarter of flour, 1/8 of a liter of chicken stock. Obviously I'm using the carton. Half a cup of heavy cream. That's the same as whipping cream or 35% cream. If anyone says heavy cream, that's what they mean. Salt and pepper, and you will need one bunch of fresh dill. So our butter has melted. Now we're going to sprinkle in the sugar. Sprinkle it in very lightly. What we're making is kind of like a little bit of a caramel, but we're not going to take it as far as you would a caramel. You just want it to basically kind of crystallizes in the pan with the butter. And what this does, it'll add a little sweetness to the dish, which is also what the salad shrimp do. They're a bit on the sweeter side. So at this point, it's just starting to brown a little. Toss in, let's turn up the heat a bit. We're going to toss in the carrots. Just get them well coated with the sugar and butter. We want to get them starting to soften. It won't take very long because they're also going to keep cooking in liquid. Add in your one small finely chopped onion. Mix all that around, get everything nicely coated. You'll be surprised at how gourmet this dish actually ends up tasting and looking for something that's relatively easy to make. This can be made a day in advance, a couple of days in advance. You can bring it right to the end. The only thing is do not add the dill. The dill gets added just before serving. So if you were to make this ahead, go to the stage where we add the dill, and then once you're ready to serve, bring it back up to heat, Add the dill, turn the heat off, give it a stir, and then serve it in the pastry cups. Okay, so this is frying up. Now we're going to sprinkle the tablespoon and a quarter of flour. Give that a stir. You want to stir this just to cook off the flour, otherwise it will have a flour-like taste. And the reason we're adding the flour is because once we add the chicken stock, it's the flour that will activate. Hey everyone, so I'm sitting here editing the video and I just realized, unfortunately, that about, I'd say 5 minutes are missing, so I'm just going to catch you up real quick. So I just left you at the stage where I added the flour. After the flour is cooked for about a minute or two, you're going to add in the stock. Add the stock, stir it until you see it start to thicken, turn down the heat and let that simmer for 20 minutes. You're going to see a lot of the liquid evaporate and the mixture get quite thick. Don't worry, that's what you want to happen. And then after those 20 minutes, add in your tomatoes and the cream. And then let that cook or simmer for an additional 5 to 10 minutes. You just want to do that so that the tomatoes start to break down. So that's what you'll have missed between the last video and the one that's going to follow right now. Anyway, it's not so difficult. I hope you'll forgive me and still like this video. It is a really good recipe, so let's just keep moving. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes and I ended up adding another third of a cup of the reserved tomato juice. At this point we're going to put in the shrimp. That was 1,200 grams. Give that a toss. There we go. At this point, all you want to do is heat through the shrimp. That's the only purpose of this, because if you cook this too long, the shrimp start to get tough. I can see that with the addition of the shrimp, it's a little thick. So I'm going to add in another 1/3 cup of the reserved tomato juice. And I think I'm also going to add in another 1/3 cup of the heavy cream. I'll adjust that in the description box below. I'll put all the instructions there as well. So at this stage, the shrimp are heated through. If you're not ready to serve, this can be put in the fridge now for a day, 2, 3. And when you're ready to serve, bring it back up to heat. And at that stage, you will add in an entire bunch of finely chopped dill. Do that just before serving, because that way the dill remains fresh, keeps its fresh flavor. You don't want this too soupy. I've already given it a taste. My salt and pepper were fine. I don't need to adjust it, but do so at this stage and adjust it to your preference. And there we go. So I'm going to add the dill. I'm going to put it in a pastry cup and show you what the end result looks like. So here you go. Here's the final result. I've spooned the filling into the pastry cup, put the little cap back on top, sprinkled a little dill around the plate for some garnish. Don't forget that most of the bunch of dill is actually in the filling. It was stirred in just before serving. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I'm sure you will. Please subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.